what to do with an old employer 401k, make $1 million? This is going to be the most important podcast you've ever heard in your life.
Your IRA can invest in this stuff. We can use your retirement account dollars, get out of Wall Street, these crappy mutual funds and target date funds, and get over to assets that can provide a better return. That's how you're going to grow and build wealth and get to the $1 million account.
It's the rule of 72. So you take that 72 divided by 12, that money doubles every 6 years. So at age 30, by 47, you're going to have $1 million tax-free. Welcome, everybody, to the Self-Directed IRA podcast, the first podcast of 2024. I'm here with the illustrious Matt Sorensen, author of the book, The Self-Directed IRA Handbook. And people, if you saw this title, What to Do with an Old Employer 401k, Make $1 Million, this is going to be the most important podcast you've ever heard in your life. This is going to freaking rock.
This is going to rock your world. Guys, there is $33 trillion in U.S. retirement accounts. Do you want to know where the most money is right now? It's in IRA accounts, actually. The most money in any bucket is in IRAs.
Really?
But do you know where those IRA funds started from? 401ks.
Oh, you mean those cheap, affordable 401ks that don't have high fees and you get to invest them the way you want?
Yeah, those ones that have crappy investment options and fee you to death, those 401ks.
Those 401ks.
But everybody put their money in it because their company gave them a match, and that's where Americans learned to save. There's $13 trillion in 401ks right now. But the largest pot of money right now, well, this is why I'm bringing this up, is actually in IRAs. But it wasn't from people putting $6,000. Well, let me say, there wasn't from people putting $6,000 a year into their IRA. The majority of people's funds in IRAs are rollovers from a 401k to an IRA, where those people decided, I'm going to go take control of this. I'm going to go invest it and try and grow it.
You mean
those are doing better?
You mean
than
those
401ks.
IRAs that have lower fees and you have more control of?
Got those IRAs.
Oh, those IRAs. Oh, I thought you were going from cheap, affordable 401ks with options to expensive IRAs so you have no options. It's the other way around.
Yeah, it works the other way, and that's why the money's growing, and that's the biggest pot of money.
But doesn't Wall Street and corporate America want me to stay in their stupid 401k?
Wall Street doesn't care. They can get a piece of you wherever you move. They're grabbing a piece of you.
Okay, so with all of our we're being, what do you call it?
Sarcastic?
Sarcastic and rude. Well, people, we're about Main Street America. We love the American dream, small business owners. We love building wealth. And frankly, I hate Wall Street generally. And not that I don't have Wall Street products and a great investment advisor, but there's a place for that. If you can take control of your retirement accounts and invest them the way you know best and keep your fees low, wouldn't that be the way to go? Well, we're going to show you how to take your old 401k from a prior employer and unlock it. Release it into your hands with lower fees and the ability to invest it more effectively and get a higher rate of return. So I'm going to be doing some math over here on my laptop on this $1 million equation. Yeah. But let's talk about first, you know, why? Why you have some great whys, and before we get into the nitty-gritty of how.
Yeah, let's hit just the reasons why you want to do this. 401ks have the highest fees out there of any retirement account type. Okay, the average 401k fee in a small business 401k is 1.5%. Even for the largest 401k plans, your average account fee is about 1%. If you have a $100,000 account, you're paying a $1,500 annual fee to have that 401k. A lot of people are blown away by that. Even our accounts with self-directed IRAs that can own alternative assets like real estate and private companies and small business and notes and crypto, our fee's $395 a year. Okay, so if you have an account of $100,000 or more, you're getting immediate tax savings, not to mention greater investment options, which is the second reason you may not want a 401k. 401ks traditionally lock you into the mutual fund family or the target date funds that provider of the 401k makes money on. They force you to buy those investment options. That might not be the right investment option. That might not have the greatest return for you in your situation. So by moving to an IRA, which we'll talk about, you're going to have greater investment options. At the end of the day, your ability to grow and build an account to get to $1 million IRA is about getting a large return on your money every year. Are you going to get that in a mutual fund or target date fund? Probably not. It's possible. If that's what you love and you're passionate about and you can find those, it's rare. We are all about clients investing in what they know, whether that's real estate, they're into real estate, small business, private companies, alternative assets, which is the largest growing asset class out there, has the highest returns. Your IRA can invest in this stuff. We can use your retirement account dollars, get out of Wall Street, these crappy mutual funds and target date funds, and get over to assets that can provide a better return. That's how you're going to grow and build wealth and get to the $1 million account.
Now, I have another reason why. And it's really I don't know if I'm going to phrase this properly. It's really an empowering statement. You may not know this. Once you leave an employer, anything in that 401k is unlocked. You can take it to a new employer 401k. Some of you may have already done that. Guess what? You can still go get it. Some of you may not know that you get to choose where that 401k money goes. You can put it into an IRA, traditional IRA. You can convert it to a Roth IRA. You may have both Roth and traditional money. And you get to choose the investments and the fees you're going to pay to play with that money. You could buy cryptocurrency. You could buy real estate. You could do notes. You could invest in ETFs that you want to invest in, not what the 401k at your new employer is offering. Mm-hmm. So our message to you, and you're bombarded with this already with commercials during Super Bowls and NCAA championships. Everybody wants to touch your old 401k. What we want to do is keep it in your hands. And that's what we do at Directed IRA. It's a trust company where that account is under your direct control without us telling you what to invest in and taking commissions or fees for what you invest in. That's the power of self-directing. This is why Peter Thiel has a $6 billion IRA. Mitt Romney has over $100 million IRA. Then you could go through the news and look at all the different people that have taken IRAs and blown them up to 6, 7, 8 figures on a regular basis. So that's the power you have. We want to show you how to unlock it and how it can get to $1 million so quickly.
Yeah, and I think the key Mark said there is your old employer 401k, even if that money was moved into a new employer. But I want to make sure everyone understands your current employer 401k, if you have a day job and you have a current employer 401k, that money is typically locked down to the options that 401k provider provides, as long as you're still an employee of that company. Now, a lot of companies will unlock it, and they're required to unlock your 401k money when you hit retirement plan age, even if you're still employed at that employer, okay? So when you hit 59 and a half, that money can then be rolled out even if you still work there. So for those of you in your 60s, and some plans do it at 55, even though you may be still working at that company, you can roll that money out just like it was an old employer. So that money becomes unlocked. So if you think about The Office, for example, I want to think about, oh my gosh, what was Michael Scott's girlfriend's name that used to be his boss? What was her name? Jan. Okay, Jan. Jan had a 401k at Dunder Mifflin. Jan doesn't work at Dunder Mifflin anymore. Okay, she quit, right? And she's 40, she could roll her 401k to an IRA. Now, if you think of The Office, let's take Meredith or Creed.
Okay.
Meredith and Creed work at Dunder Mifflin, participate in the 401k, but they're over 59 and a half. Even though they still work there, they can roll their money out of the 401k and go to an IRA. So any of those scenarios there, old employer 401k, or you're still working at the company, but your retirement plan age, 59 and a half, some plans do it at 55, you can roll the funds out. Okay, now that money is, as Mark said, unlocked.
Okay, now let's get to the fun part here. And then we'll get into the how. Once you release that money, and I just did some research here in anticipating our show here in preparation for the show. The average 401k for those balance between around age 40 is $100,000. Now that's average. There's people that have high income jobs that are in their 30s, get to that 100 grand a little faster. Some maybe a little slower. It depends on how aggressive you've been in saving. But let's just say your average 401k in America, median age between age 25 and 55 is going to be about 100 grand. So you got 100 grand to start with. Now, once you roll that money out to an IRA, that IRA account, and we've got shows and we love to talk about the Roth IRA. So I want to get that over to a Roth position where you'll never pay tax again. That's a side conversation. But say you got that 100 grand you roll to an IRA. This year, you can now put an additional $7,000 into it. So separate from your new employer, we want to encourage you to be putting in that $7 grand a year in this new IRA that you just pumped 100 grand in. That's about $600 a month. So for $600 a month, you're going to continue to build that new IRA from the old employer, and at a 12% ROI, rate of return, in 17 years, you're going to have $1 million. That's 12%. We have clients that are doing 20%. We have clients that do 8%. We don't tell you what to invest in, but if you want to go leverage that money and buy real estate, do notes, again, invest in all sorts. Yesterday, I bought a bunch of cryptocurrency. I did.
Did you?
I did.
It's been on a run.
Yeah, well, BlackRock gets their ETF approved today from the SEC.
Oh, is it today?
Yeah.
That must be what's happening. Because it's funny, when I came into the office today, crypto trades were like off the charts.
Yep, $2 billion.
We'll see where it ends today. I guarantee you it's,
Well, there's I don't know. So
it's on a run.
Yeah, and by the way, we're not saying buy crypto or not, but it's getting more and more legitimized. The SEC is approving the first exchange-traded fund by BlackRock. They're committing $2 billion into cryptocurrency to legitimize it further to be used as a transaction.
And this is specifically Bitcoin, right? That their ETF is Bitcoin. I think Ethereum there's some funds around the corner to do that. But this is just one asset class. And we're talking about like crypto. I mean, we have clients just investing. I have a client who owns a Buffalo Wild Wings franchise in it that does very well. I have a client who owns a Mexican soccer team in their retirement account. We have a client that owns a boring single family rentals. I private lend my money at 12% interest and 2 points, getting 14% return. I can beat that 12% because I actually lend that money out twice a year.
Yes.
So not only am I getting 14, I'm actually getting 16% on that money. Okay. And so these are the things where the money adds up. Now, if I'm in a target date fund or a mutual fund, maybe I'm getting 8%, maybe I'm getting 6%, over time. And if you average it out, and when you run these calculators, your investment returns, this is that time value of money, a 1% or 2% adjustment on this over a 20 or 30 year investment horizon is huge about how much money is going to be in your retirement account. And this all depends, and it's up to you really. So our message is we want you to be engaged with this. Take control of your retirement. That's like trademark that. We freaking trademark that. Take control of your retirement. This money that's sitting out there might be your most investable pot of money. That $100,000 example Mark gave, you're in your 40s, sure, you got this old employer 401k. That might be your most investable pot of money that could build your retirement so you have something you're looking forward to. Don't count on your next employer's 401k because it's probably going to have crappy investment options too. So get engaged, take control of that. Get it invested where you can have a higher return and also minimize your fees. Now, when a lot of people think, oh, but Matt, you have a fee of $395 or this self-directed IRA provider charges this or that. Guys, the 401k is actually the most fee-laden place to have your money. Go research this. Go watch Stephen Colbert's video on this on YouTube, by the way, where he goes after the 401k industry because they actually looked into the fees at their show's 401k plan and went berserk realizing how much money they paid because they nickel and dime you. And you just don't see it. So I just want to make sure everybody gets those 2 key points. Get a higher rate of return. That's the hard part. You got to work on that. But get out of the high fees. You're getting feed to death in your 401k.
Now, I want to circle back one more time because this makes me excited on this. Let's say you average 12. Some years you might get 8 or 10. Some years you might get 14 or 16. You're investing in your brother-in-law's restaurant. You're investing in real estate, all these different options. Who knows what? I brought up crypto because it's just another option that you don't have in a typical 401k. But if you do 12% with that $100,000, continuing to put in your $7,000 a year, in your age, let's say 30. At age 47, you're going to have $1 million tax-free in that Roth IRA. The beauty of that, maintaining 12%, is now that money doubles every 6 years. It's the rule of 72. So you take that 72 divided by 12, that money doubles every 6 years. So at age 30, by 47, you're going to have $1 million tax-free. Now, by age 53, you have $2 million. By age 59, you have $4 million. And people, once you get into a rhythm and investing in what you know and going for the long haul, using Warren Buffett strategies of investing in quality businesses and what you know, that maintaining 10 to 12% is so doable. We have our Alt Assets Summit coming up this year again, where we have a 2-day conference just on ways to invest your money. We're not out there just saying this to make you feel good. We are actually showing you and bringing people from all the different industries that can show you how to do this. So.
Yeah, and we're unique in that we're not selling investments. I don't care what you invest in. I make zero money based on what you invest in. We do not care. We want you to invest in what makes sense for you that's going to generate the largest return for you. And it's interesting to see some of our largest accounts. We have a lot of accounts over $10 million. So the largest account we have, I have a client that has over $300 million in a Roth IRA. Okay, in a one Roth IRA that started at zero. Okay, and so, but everybody's doing something different. People think that there's like some secret investment fund we're putting everybody's money into to have the $10 million accounts. And no, Every one of those people is doing something entirely different, but they're doing unique assets. They're finding opportunities. They're engaged in small business. They're engaged in their real estate community. They're finding opportunities. People know that they invest in stuff. They come to them with deals and opportunity. They get deal flow. Once they've invested and they've got $1 million out there, deals just come to them because everybody knows this is someone that does deals and that has money, that likes to invest, and I can offer them a return. And so that's when this starts snowballing. Takes a little bit to get going. That's like Mark said, the Alt Asset Summit. We bring together people that have done this. We bring together people that have these alternative investment options out there for you. And we teach it and just try to educate you. But at the end of the day, you're in control of this. You're making the decisions. It's your money, and it's going to be your retirement.
I love it. Tristan, would you make sure in the description that altassetsummit.com is in there so people can start looking at the dates and getting registered to attend in person or virtually?
Yeah, and that's in October, and we got the Self-Directed IRA Summit coming up in Dallas, which is more about the rules on self-directing. How do I partner with people? If I want to use my IRA and a spouse and a friend, what are the rules? What if I'm doing a real estate deal? Can I stay at the property? Who can I rent it to? Do I use an LLC? What tax issues do I need to know about? Should I do Roth or traditional? That's all the stuff we cover at Self-Directed IRA Summit too.
Okay.
SDRAsummit.com.
Now this first 15 minutes was to get you excited. Now because if you don't have the emotion of I want to take action, then you're not going to listen to the rest of this on the steps you need to take that are really quite simple. But we wanted to really unlock the opportunity, the excitement, your ability to build this wealth and start doubling your money every 6 years with quality investments and getting out of the 401k regime. We want you to be in control. So with that said, then you've got this old 401k that could be sitting at Vanguard or Fidelity, and you're getting statements and it's just languishing there. And it was funny when I put up this investment calculator on my laptop, their auto-populated rate of return was 4%.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. So you've got this old 401k, or maybe you took that 401k money and rolled it into a new employer 401k. So, but step one is really, Matt, setting up where it's going.
Yes.
Right? So tell us how we do.
Yeah. Step one, you're typically going to set up an IRA. Now we want to look at your 401k. So I think even step one is inventory your 401k.
Yeah.
What do you have? Some of you are going to have all traditional dollars in your 401k. Sometimes that's called pre-tax dollars, meaning you've got a tax deduction on it. You haven't paid tax on it. In the IRA world, we just call it traditional dollars. Some of you might have post-tax dollars or Roth dollars in your 401k where you paid tax on it.
And you'll never pay tax again.
You'll never pay tax on it again. It's going to grow and come out tax-free. We love those post-tax or Roth dollars. Now, you might have a combo of both of those. Your pre-tax or traditional dollars are going to go to a traditional IRA. Your post-tax or Roth 401k dollars are going to go to a Roth IRA. So step one is inventory what you have. Step two would be set up the new account you're going to need in the IRA world, whether that's a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA, or you might have both. You might have a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA because you got pre and post traditional and Roth dollars.
And we want to be fair and honest, as I appreciated Stephen A. Smith yesterday talking about the Dallas Cowboys. He was like, all right, I'll give it to you. You know, Prescott, best quarterback in the NFC right now. Fair enough. I mean, it was like killing him to talk about the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs. But he was like, I'll be fair. They're in the playoffs. He loves to beat up the Cowboys. So we want to be fair here. When you go to open up those IRAs, you could go to a Schwab or a Fidelity and just open up an IRA there and turn around investing in ETFs or some simple type of mutual funds that make sense to you. You're still going to have lower fees there than your 401k, absolutely, but you're not going to have that control that we were just referring to 5-10 minutes ago. But that's one of your options. If you want to open up one of those IRAs where you have the ability to invest in small business and alt assets, that's when you're going to go to directedira.com. You can open an account on your phone in the middle of the night and get that account going, and that is part of step two, is choosing where you want that IRA to be set up. And you got to think ahead. What am I going to do? Am I going to be committed to learning a little bit? Are there investment choices that are present to me? Because if they're not, you may just go to the Fidelity or Schwab account and just start it. Just get out of the 401k. That we totally want to be behind you on that. But then start your education.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think one of the things too is sell down to cash. So usually so step one, I figured out what I got. Step two, I've identified the account type I want and where I want to set it up. Maybe I want it self-directing and I want to do real estate or alternative assets. I go to direct IRA. Maybe I'm like, I'm going to trade, whatever, or I'm just going to buy more affordable or better performing ETFs or funds, and I'm going to do that in a brokerage account. Whatever, knock yourself out. So you've got you know where it's going.
Okay.
But now we got to get it there. Now since you're going to change the investment option, you want to sell your fund that you have in your 401k and get to cash. Because
but don't I pay tax if I do that and go to cash?
No, it's in your 401k.
Okay.
So there's no tax on that. When you sell that, you're going to get to cash. Then you're going to roll. So that'd be step 3, I guess, is sell and get to cash. Yeah. Step 4 is going to be you're going to roll over that cash to the new account.
But hold on, isn't there a fee to do that?
There might be, actually.
Some of these 401ks want to get one last stab in your back before you leave.
It's nominal. It's got to be reasonable. They do get
$100.
regulated on that. So you might have a fee to close it out. But it's
not an IRS fee, though.
No, there's no tax. There's no IRS penalty or anything like this. Because you're going from a 401k into an IRA, which is still a qualified retirement account. Okay. And you're following the rules, of course.
No tax.
No place. Do not take the money personally, though. Oh. That's what we're saying here. Do not take a distribution personally and you get the check personally of cash, you deposit it in your own bank account. Don't do that. Some 401k providers will send you the check, but it's written to your IRA. It's written out to Directed IRA or it's written out to Charles Schwab, but they send it to you and then you've got to forward it on to your IRA provider. Just never deposit it personally into your account.
If you do, or some of you have, you've got to get familiar with the 60-day rule right away.
Yeah.
And we have other podcasts on that. We won't go there now, but just do not deposit the money. Make sure that when you go to roll over, you're going to marry up these two companies. You're going to tell the company where you set up the IRA, a directed IRA, we have a whole team over there. They're going to go, you're going to say, the money's coming from my old 401k at Fidelity, and I opened this new account with you. Will you help me do it? They're going to help. Yeah. They're going to make sure the paperwork's done, no penalty, no tax.
Yeah. And now step 5 is going to be your old employer 401k is going to have a form you authorize to send the money. Going from IRAs to IRAs is actually different. If you have an IRA with us, we request the money. The new IRA provider goes and requests it from the old IRA provider. It's called a trustee-to-trustee transfer. Going from your old employer 401k, though, to an IRA, the old employer 401k, you have to initiate the request with them, and then they will send it to the IRA provider.
And what I'm getting at is you don't have to figure this out. We have live chat. We have a phone number you can call. They're picking up. Our customer service ratings are the best in the industry. You call up and say, what do I ask my 401 company? Company just said, we're going to help walk you through it.
And all the big ones, we know the process and their forms and what you're going to need to do, and we'll walk you through it.
Yeah. Now, I want to say this. If some of you are like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have known this 3 years ago or 6 months ago when I moved my old 401k money to my new employer 401k. That's okay. You've got to contact your new employer 401k and go, can you tell me how much of the current money in there is from and originated from my old employer? And they'll say X dollars. And you'll say, great. I need the form to move that money to an IRA because you're allowed to do that. They can't, once you move it to that new employer 401k, they can't lock it down. You are under federal law, you're allowed to move it out if you choose to. Now, I had a question for you. Are the earnings on that money part of the new employer 401k, or they stay with the old employer 401k money? Do you know?
The earnings on the 401k.
So if they say I rolled over that $100,000 to a new employer 401k, and I made $5,000 on it?
Yes, the earnings should be tracking with the old 401k dollars. So the earnings from the old 401k dollars. This is what Mark's talking about. You have an old employer 401k rolled to a current employer 401k, and now you're still at that current employer 401k. But you've got the old employer 401k plus the earnings from it. That could be ripped out and rolled to an IRA.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So we've identified what we have. We've opened the accounts, or we figured out the accounts we need. We've opened them at the right place. We've sold them to cash. We've initiated the form with the old provider or the old employer 401k. We've communicated with the new IRA provider that this money's coming because they want to know, because they'll just get a wire sometimes. You're like, what the hell was this? Your name's associated with it, but we don't, so there's a little communication that has to happen here. And then the big thing here is, while this is happening, there's some time that happens. There's sometimes checks in the mail instead of wires happening, or ACHs and a 7-day hold. Sometimes there's issues like this with the money coming. In the meantime, start figuring out, and this is a lifelong journey, what to invest it in. I want to make sure everybody realizes when you start out investing into alternative assets and you're finding your deals, you're finding a real estate deal, you're finding a small business opportunity, you're finding a private fund. This is a journey. You will be the worst at it when you start. You get better as you go. You don't get worse. This is like anything new. Cooking, pickleball, I don't care what it is. As you do it more and more, you get better at it. You get faster at it. You get better performance.
I started pretty good at pickleball.
You start pretty good at pickleball?
Yeah. But I guess I'm still improving.
But you're better than where you started.
That's true.
You started good, but now you're great.
Yes, there you go. Okay, fair enough. Okay.
So some of you might start at good and go to great.
Yes. Some of you might start at, what'd you start at, poor? And now you're good?
It's been a while since Mark and I played pickleball, but I did lose.
Did you feel a challenge in that? Did you hear
I did lose. We did go, this is couples pickleball, we did go 1 out of 3. We played best of 3, and you only won 2. It's not like you swept us.
Yeah, it's true. It was so we won 2 out of 3.
I mean, it was respectable.
It was respectable.
We didn't, have to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And we lost to some champions.
Yeah. Are you up for a challenge?
I think we need a rematch.
Yeah. MLK weekend.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do it.
Challenge on. We're gonna have to report back to the show here.
So I just wanted to say that you're going to learn what to invest in, and this is where you start getting engaged. If you're a real estate person, this is what a lot of our clients here. It's like, guys, I've invested in 10 real estate deals. I know real estate. I'm a real estate agent. And nobody told me I could even do this with an IRA. I don't need any help. I'm ready to go tomorrow. You're telling me I can use this for retirement account money to go invest in something? Like, I know a deal tomorrow to go into. Now, some of you aren't like that. You need to get out there, start networking. Some of you might do buy and hold rental stuff. Some of you might go and flip properties. Some of you might go private money lend it. You're like, I just want to play the bank. I don't want to be doing this all day long. So everybody's got a little different way they're going to do it. The point of it is find what works for you. You do need to build a network. You need to get educated. You need to learn this stuff. But this money is a huge opportunity because for everybody that has this little sliver of the 30 trillion in retirement accounts out there, we want you to grow that to be the biggest sliver out there as possible. I want you to be able to get that 14% Mark was talking about, that 12% return. You did 12, right?
I did 12.
You did 12%, where your money is doubling every 6 years. Think about that. That is insane.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're getting half that return, 6%, let's say in an ETF or a mutual fund, your money's doubling every 12 years. Yeah. Okay. It's taking twice as long to compound this money. Meanwhile, you're going to have half the amount of money in retirement you could otherwise have.
I love it. Okay. A couple last points I'd like to throw out is some of you that left that own employer to become an entrepreneur, and maybe your side hustle turned into your main hustle and you left your employer. That 401k could actually be rolled into your own 401k, and that's an option too. If you are thinking about setting up a solo 401k and you have a small business, maybe you're a solopreneur, you're single, married, but you don't have other employees, this is a great place to consider opening your own 401k where you control the fees, but you still control the investments. They can even be better asset protected. It allows you to put in more than $7,000 because now you control the 401k and the spigot of what's going in and how it's invested. That can be exciting. In our prior podcasts, we have shows dedicated to the solo 401k, so check that out. And I think the last thing I want to say is start consuming information on this. Maybe you don't take action tomorrow, but start learning, because learning takes away fear and learning helps you take action. And we have so many podcasts that help with special guests and interviews, our workshops that are recorded. You can get copies of those. You can attend the new ones. Start building a new community. What do they say? If you want to start making money, hang out with people that make money. Count up, look at your 5 friends. What's their average income? What's their average retirement balance? Divide it by 5, that's going to be yours. Maybe you need to change your circle of people you associate with and learn with. And that's okay. You can still go out and have drinks with your same poor friends. But why don't you go to conferences and learn from people that become your new rich friends? It works.
Yeah, it's so true. I think about myself, that's very true. I go and double it in 6 years. You need to be laser focused over on this other side here. So many of us, and this is what's happening in our retirement accounts, have just said, set it and forget it. Like it's freaking dehydrated food.
Exactly what Wall Street wants you to do.
That's what they want you to do because that's how they make the most money with doing the least amount of work. you need to be engaged in that money. Make sure you know what's going on with that money. Make sure you're looking for opportunities to invest it, to maximize it, to double it as fast as possible. Think of that rule of 72. How fast of a return I can, so I'm doubling that as quickly as possible. Get engaged with that 30 trillion of US dollars that's out there. You've got your sliver of it. Get engaged with it. Learn how it can be grown. And this is, I think, the fun thing to do about building wealth, not thinking about how you can work twice as much to make 100 grand. How can my money work for me to make twice as much?
Love it. Well, everybody, hopefully you may have found something that is going to change your life in a significant way. Maybe you can share this podcast with a friend or family member, and maybe you're new to the show and we're like, oh my gosh, these guys aren't too bad to listen to, I hope. And if you're catching us on YouTube, easy on the eyes, we're trying. We had bringing a whole makeup team for every show.
Yeah, they're definitely earning their money there.
Yeah, they are. So please continue to look at the prior shows, subscribe, give us a 5-star if you feel so inclined. We really want to be a voice of reason for people out there that are dissatisfied with the results they're getting in their current retirement account and feel like they don't have a choice. We want to empower you. We want to set you free and set your 401k free. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See you next time.